kind of lifted the thing up in Western Carolina. What are your impressions of the job he's done?
He's done a great job. Veteran coach, led the FCS in 7 categories offensively, did a really good job. Did such a good job, he lost a lot of coaches and players, but he's a vet. He's been around, he understands how to do it. They're tough. They've recruited well. They got good size on the line of scrimmage. A lot of guys that can make plays in space, and yeah, it's good. A really good program. I mean, you watch them play last year, and I haven't studied them, every year like we are obviously this year, but they're impressive on film.
Do you like having the couple-day jump start on the season?
I do, for a couple of reasons. We practice all spring. We go through winter conditioning, summer conditioning, fall camp, and the guys are ready. They want to play a game. And then on the flip side, it gives us a couple days. And this season in particular, with playing 8 without a bye, every extra day we can get is a good day, from a recovery standpoint for the coaches too, just to be able to have a little extra time to clear our heads and get ready for another opponent.
You've been on both sides of the FBS versus FCS games. How important is it to college football, and obviously who knows how that will go moving forward?
Yeah, being in FCS football for 6 years as a coach, those are huge games for programs, and obviously they make money for those schools as well, so they help support their budgets. But those kids, to get a play in a Power 4 stadium, great life experience for them, and they're good opponents. When you play in these games, you can't take anybody for granted. You have to understand that they're coming in here with nothing to lose when they play us, and having that perspective for me, because I played that level, coached that level, helps, when talking to the guys for sure.
When you look at Western Carolina's, whole lineup, is there a specific position group that stands out the most?
Yeah, I think their quarterback's a really good player. Coach's son, you can see he's a game operator, manages things, makes quick decisions, accurate, doesn't turn the football over. Last year I thought their tailback position was really loaded, and they've lost a couple guys, so we'll see, where that is. But they did a great job getting the football to the running backs last year in the passing game and the running game. But those 2 positions stand out.
Coach Doeren, Grayson McCall spoke highly of Tony Gibson's defense, and just how much he's enjoyed going up against him during camp, and how it's going to prepare him for the season. How much have you enjoyed that iron sharpens iron aspect?
Yeah, it's fun, to see the chess match, Coach and I and Coach Gibson back and forth, and then the quarterback's obviously a huge part of that. And they have good conversations after practice, Grayson and Tony, on what you saw, what was hard today, and I think it's good information. Grayson's played football a long time. He's seen a lot as a starter, and so I think he appreciates being tested. There's not a coverage that he's going to see all season that he didn't see in training camp, so he's definitely ready for what's in front of him.
Coach, you've had a lot of success generating turnovers in the last 3 seasons. What do you attribute that success to?
It's buy-in. I think all schools talk about the importance of getting the ball back. It's buy-in by the players, and it's finishing plays. There's a lot of DBs, linebackers, different guys where the ball gets in their hands and you see them not finish the play. Our guys have finished plays. Pass rush, coverage tied together. Obviously the scheme helps too. When you have an extra guy dropping in coverage at times, you got more people that can break on the football. But it's 11 guys, and really 15 when you get into the rotation of a game that buy into it and they understand the value of, there's nothing more important in a game than possession of the ball. And so defensively getting that back flips the field position, gains the momentum, puts their defense back on the field for our offense, all those things. It's complementary football.
A lot of game day operations this year. What do you think is going to make a bigger impact? The communication ability of that 15-second mark, or the tablets on the sideline?
I think it might be team to team, depending on how they communicate. Teams that are no huddle are still going to be signaling everything. The teams that huddle have a bigger advantage with the headset technology. I think the tablets, for me, I'm more excited about, because I think the real-time, exact information that you get without having to, what did you see? Are you sure you saw that? Then asking a player to confirm what he saw, like, no, this is what happened. And so you can make quicker, real adjustments as a coach. And sometimes you come into the office the day after a game, watch the film, and you're mad, because you're like, if I would have known that was happening, I would have done X, Y, and Z. And you just don't always get accurate information because things happen really fast on game day. You don't always get the replay on the Jumbotron, So for me, that is what I'm more excited about, but I think both can help depending on the offensive style.
How does Jahad kind of fit in at nickel, since he's gotten here?
Yeah, a really versatile player. Played in a similar system at Syracuse, played safety and nickel for them, and then played in a different system at Ohio State. So, he's well versed. Fundamentally, he's been coached by some good guys on defense. Very confident player, and he fit right in. I mean, it was a very smooth transition with him.
You had a very gifted two-way player at Kansas who could do pretty much everything, wide receiver, cornerback. When you recruit gifted two-way players in high school, what's kind of like the process of how you settle on a position, or maybe leave it open-ended where they can play both sides of the ball?
Yeah, I was fortunate and unfortunate at Kansas. We played three guys both ways because we didn't have that many good players when we first got there. And Charles Gordon played both sides of the ball. Keith Talib played both sides of the ball. Our tailback John Randall played both sides of the ball. And that's a tribute to their stamina and ability. But what I learned from that is if you got a guy that can change the game, then try to change the game with them. And sometimes two-way players have the stamina to do that coming to college. Sometimes they don't, And so I'm open to it, obviously. We're doing it now with Isaiah Shirley. And there's guys that we're recruiting who I can't talk about, but that's something that, is interesting to them. And if they have the mental capabilities and the physical stamina, then I'm open to those things because it's been successful in my history.
The ACC network just turned 5. What's kind of been your kind of takeaway from it so far in these 5 years? This game would not be nationally televised if not for ACC.
Yeah, well, it's definitely got us more publicity. There's more access, I think, which is the main thing. You're in more homes, more countries, everything involved with that. And I think, as the years have gone, the network has improved. I think they learn each year how they can get better. I do appreciate that part. They're not hard-headed, and this is how we do it. Get used to it. If you have ideas, suggestions, if they make a mistake, being able to improve year after year. The talent that they've put on game day for us, has gotten better. We've built relationships with some of these folks, and it's fun to have them. I really enjoy getting to spend time with some of the staff that comes in.
Coach Doeren, we always hear from the players just how excited they are for the first game of the season. But for you as a coach, what's it like for you when you wake up the first day of the new season?
Every game's exciting for me. Like the first game, it's just been a while, but the longer you coach, the more you appreciate the opportunity and coming out of the tunnel with your guys and seeing the excitement, the energy, the anxiety, all of it. It's impossible to explain. You have to be a part of it as a coach or a player. But we work really hard for a few opportunities, 12 guaranteed, and that walk down the tunnel with that group, that sprint out on the field, the fireworks, the flyover, the fans, the smoke, all of it. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's the first game. I think this is my 78th maybe home game. Like every one of them feels good.
Western's going to fling the ball and then run off of that. Schematically, how difficult
Were you
are
at practice?
I'm sorry?
You know that? Or?
I have an idea.
Okay.
This is my first rodeo. But how hard are they schematically to defend? And do they have a system that reminds you of anybody maybe in the ACC?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to make you defend the width of the field. They use space well, but they're also physical in the run game. It's an up-tempo offense, and so, how you defend that is don't let them have first downs. Don't give them positive first down yardage either. If you can get them in what we call off-schedule play calling, it helps the defense. And so you got to perform well on those first and 10s or P and 10s. And then the third downs are really big because those offenses really crank up when they start getting first downs. And so getting them off the field. There's a lot of spread offenses we played. I don't think they're anything different than the others. They have their system. They're really good at it. Their players understand it. They operate well, and they make you defend the field. And you got to tackle well when you play spread offenses. That's the key. The ball's going to be in space a lot.
Last year, y'all didn't huddle, necessarily a lot at the beginning of the year, and you re-implemented that toward the end. Is that going to be a focus again this year?
Yeah, we'll be able to do both.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because you do end up in 2-minute offensively, you have to be able to operate as a no-huddle offense. But we'll be able to do both. And Coach and I has a good feeling on which one's helping him and have the ability to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants.
Just a couple more.
Coach and I will be in the coach's box this year. What kind of you kind of like having him up there now? Because
Yeah, he's done both in his career. As a coordinator, I've done both. I think there's a serenity up there that you have that's different. When you're on the field, it's loud, it's emotional, there's people in your way you get bumped into, you're looking at your play sheet, and for him, I think it's just an easier way to focus, and he feels like because it's his second year with the staff, it's easier for him to delegate things and have confidence that they're going to get done the way he wants. Coach Roper has been on the field throughout his career, and so it's an easy transition. But I think as a play caller, I know just personally, I always enjoyed being able to spread my stuff out on the desk and take your time and look at it, and you're just not as rushed, and it's a quieter space to do your work.
This is your first time going through game planning with this group. What has impressed you about how this group has approached opponent-specific preparation?
You know, really, it's not even the game planning. It's just whatever you put in front of them. It's a good group of leaders in the locker room. Our captains do a great job, and whatever we've asked, they've stepped up. You know, and so it's transitioning from going against each other to getting ready for opponent. I thought it was very smooth. But you know, these guys, they want to win. And so when you tell them, hey, here's what's next, here's why we're doing it, this is how we're going to do it, they just get in line and go, and that's been fun. You know, there's just no resistance. There's a lot of guys working together.